Okay, Anthony Kulp. Anthony Kulp is going to do a delicious interview, and I have to tell you, if you go to Boomer Times, you'll see this very attractive man who has been in the real estate business for so long. And here he is. I'm going to show you his ad. Here he is. And I'm Anita Finley, and you're watching a the Zoomer Times TV. And we do this with our special guests, and we do have a special guest. And of course, if you look in the magazine, you'll see Anthony Michael Kulp, and he's actually, his office is down in Broward, but he will help anyone, anywhere. And when I talk about Anthony, what I say is, if you have a property, something that just isn't going well, and you cause it to be staged, and you can explain what that is, Anthony, or it needs to actually be not demolished, but changed. You like troubled properties, don't you?
Well, it comes along. So if somebody has a house where it has a very bad roof leak and they can't afford to fix the leak, then you have to adjust the price. And everything is either fix it or adjust the price. So, and usually you'll do better if you fix it. Occasionally, if something's found on a home inspection, then give a credit and let the buyer fix it, because sometimes the buyer can't wait longer and you may lose the deal.
Well, but actually, as you said, if something's wrong on the roof, then it means there's other things wrong everywhere, right? That's why you tried to say, this is the best it can be. And yes, of course, there's some things that nobody knew. But let's get back to that. So people who have homes and they're really fine, they live in it, they love it, and all of a sudden they want to sell it. Now, you hurt their feelings when you say, well, your bathroom is old, it may be working, but people don't, they're not interested, and they don't want to come in and have to do it themselves. So you want to sell this for a certain amount of price, you're going to have to start to redo everything. Now, that's a big job.
Well, first, if it with them saying the house down the street sold for 300,000, so I should get 300 for mine.
Right.
And then you have to say, okay, well, let's look at, did it have a new kitchen, a new roof, a pool, garage? What did it have that your house didn't? Or does your house have more? Maybe your house is worth more than that. That's where you start. And then to prep the property for sale, somebody, especially if they lived in a house for 30 years, their closets are stuffed. They have too much furniture. So you have to very gently say, okay, we need to thin things out. You're moving anyway. It costs a lot of money to move. So why don't you start getting rid of things now? That's one of the things. And then if the house needs a lot of improvements, I'll ask, do you have a budget to do improvements so your house shows better? Some people do. So then we discuss what would be the best things to do within your budget. So somebody might not have the budget to remodel a kitchen or a bathroom, but their budget could give it curb appeal or, just some painting or changing the flooring, whatever it may be that fits within their budget.
I see. Yeah, because you're right. A lot of people are selling their home because they don't have money. And how are they going to, well, they could finance something, I guess, if it's worth it, a house, they have equity in it, and then just pay it off when they sell it, right?
Right. Pay their loan off and buy something small. Real estate specialists. I mainly only deal with senior citizens. I have a rental property and a couple bought it. They moved up from Miami. They sold their house for $600,000 and they're paying $1,700 a month now to rent a 2-bedroom house. And they said, we just wanted to get out of Miami and we have all this money put away now. And we just want to relax and not have to worry about bills or anything. And they're a retired couple. So it gives them a lot of security. Now they may be using the money for their kids, paying off tuition or, you can only ask so many questions until you're being a little invasive to their privacy.
Yeah, but that's a good point. So there are people who are downsizing, and that's your profession, of course. asking the seniors what they really want to do, but they probably are selling and then they're going to rent, and they figured out, well, maybe I don't have to pay a condominium fee, I don't pay taxes, and I'm going to live this way for another 10 years, and maybe it makes sense, right? They can come and go. They don't have to, during a hurricane, they don't have to worry about all these things. I don't know.
No major expenses. If once you get to a fixed income, so you know, okay, I have $2,800 a month coming in. And if you're living in a house and the roof has to be replaced and it's $20,000, that's a big bite, you know. Or you get a special assessment if you're living in a condo. So you know, renting a place, you're not going to get any big expenditures. If the refrigerator goes, the owner replaces it. All the amenities are paid for. Now your rent may go up, but typically it's very minimal. And if you're a good tenant, a landlord won't raise your rent every year. They may raise it in 3 years or 5 years. Like me, as long as I have a good tenant, they're paying on time and they're taking care of the property, that rent will stay the same until I'm way, way below the market on, you know, what it should be getting.
Okay, but there are companies who bought up a lot of properties to rent them. And is it true though that sometimes they then take it off? I mean, you're renting, and then they say, well, we're going to sell it or something, and so it's not stable. Now you have to move. So that's the one problem renters have.
Right. Then whenever I'm working with a renter, and especially if they want to live in a condominium that a single individual owns, and are at an older age, I let them know you're putting yourself in risk. This seller, after a year or 2 years, could turn around and say, I'm going to sell it. Now, whatever.
Or I'm going to move in there myself or something.
Right, exactly. Now, if you have a lease,
yeah,
you just signed a 1-year lease, they could sell it, but you still get to stay there until your lease is up.
I know, that's my next question. I'm glad you brought that up. Why do they only allow 1-year leases now? I never did that before.
You can get a multi-year lease, but in the state of Florida, an attorney has to prepare the lease.
Why? What happened there?
It's the landlord tenant code for the state of Florida.
Ah.
I'm sure they did it because people were trapped in leases. Maybe they only wanted to rent for the season and they would rent for the year. It was something to protect the tenant.
I see. Oh, I see. Okay. And the other thing is, when a lot of people they sell. I had a cousin who had a place in Boca Raton, and they were going to sell it, and they're going to make good profit. And they found out that they had mold when I guess the people come in, they send in people to check everything. Mm-hmm. Boy, that cost them, I hate to tell you this, close to $50,000 to get rid of the mold.
Yeah, that's a case that it's all over their furniture. It's all, you know, it just grew everywhere.
They didn't know that.
Did their air conditioner go out? And they were
no, it was inspected. It was just all inside the walls. It was a big house. Yeah. And they didn't know they had mold. Yeah. How do you know you have mold if it doesn't show?
Well, first of all, when people hear mold, they think it's the most horrendous thing in the world. Your shower has mold. When you see that black in there, that's mold and mildew. Yeah. It's not what's in your shower is not a big of an irritant. Your shower may smell a little bit because with mold, there's bacteria and stuff like that. There's times where maybe the refrigerator line just had a slight leak. So when they do the inspection and pull the refrigerator out, they see black mold. Again, that's not harmful mold. There's probably more mold in the air you breathe outside than what is there. And that one spot can be treated with just removing the drywall, cleaning it, and then encapsulating it. And when I say encapsulating it, it's painting over it. And that's fine. It's the EPA is okay. It stops the mold. They will treat the anti-mold spray inside the cabinet. and you're okay. Now, I had a customer, he just purchased a place in the fall. He's a snowbird. They went back to New Jersey. They got here a few weeks ago, and their place was filled with mold. All their brand new furniture, throughout the entire
Oh,
place.
and how did that happen,
The
Anthony?
unit above them, the air conditioner leaked, and it leaked down into his unit, and it just ruined his whole unit. ServPro was there for weeks. It's still not done, but he was able to move in. So they had to wash all their clothes. They had to wash all the walls and ceilings.
Oh my
They had
heavens,
to clean the air
Anthony.
ducts. They had to pull out all the appliances inside the cabinets, and they had literally had to clean everything.
But
So
the people upstairs, of course, their insurance company had to pay for everything, but it was a hassle, I'm sure.
typically condo insurance, your insurance pays for your unit, and their insurance will pay for theirs. Now, the unit
Ah,
upstairs, he does have someone to go after. The unit above him hired a company to go and inspect that property every week. And there's no way they were checking that property every week because it was
right.
condensation from the air conditioner. So as long as the door isn't being open and closed all the time, humid air wasn't going into the unit. So it had to be a slight leak that just leaked a little bit. And
Oh,
if the inspection company would have went in there every week like they were supposed to, they would have seen it, and it would have never gotten to this point. So they would be responsible to pay all his out-of-pocket expenses.
oh, that's a really gory story. Yeah, so it's funny. There are so many real estate salespeople, maybe brokers, running around, jumping into this business. They have no idea. They just have no idea what it really takes, do they? They think that this owners, they're just going to buy something, they're going to get the money, and that's it.
Well, 90% of real estate agents sell 80% of the property of
Yeah.
property. So
They'll sell 20%. Is that what you said?
no, 80%. The other 80 sell the 20%.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. Right, that's right. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's
A
that's
typical
a big
agent,
story.
a typical agent will sell 11 or 12 units a year.
Really?
Mhm.
Typical, meaning someone who's good?
The average. Out of all the realtors in the United States, the average amount of units that a realtor will sell is around 11 or 12 a year.
And it's going to come mostly from referrals. I mean, and some advertising and of course in MLS and all that, but if one person likes you, they're going to refer you to someone else, right?
I don't sell, for me, I don't sell a lot of $1 million homes. Every once in a while, right now I'm working on a shopping center, and that might be a $5 million sale.
Ah,
My sales are around 200,000. I do a lot of them. So, but somebody else who does sell $1 million homes, they might only sell 2 or 3,
Yeah.
maybe 4 multi-million dollar homes. So I'm working a lot more, but now I have all of the people that I sold to,
right. Of
they're my referral base.
course.
That's why every year I get a couple more sales and a couple more sales. And because I'm dealing in volume, that's
Yeah.
not at a higher price, but the volume is making up for it.
Right. And
Work
of course,
really hard.
yeah, right. And they're not as problematic because when you're selling a very expensive home, boy.
10 are very problematic.
Yeah, that's true. So that's what you do. I'd like to ask you some questions though about what really is selling most. Condos, homes, townhouses, communities, where they have the seniors. What, I know that you're in a specific place, of course, but what in your, estimation do you think is the hottest item?
Well, I think up until about 4 weeks ago, everything was selling.
Oh, what happened 4 weeks ago?
Well, the election.
Uh,
Consumer confidence dropped because of the election, not knowing what was going to happen. and things really slowed down. The other thing was it was so busy that my prediction for next year, it will be slower only because so many people bought this year. You only have so many people that are buying and selling within a year. Now, a lot of that could have been because they had a lot of time with COVID and they were getting tired of looking at the same four walls and they were thinking about selling anyway, and that motivated them to sell.
I see.
But one of the problems that we're going to have this year is no one's coming into the country. So all the South Americans, all the Canadians, all the Europeans, we're losing all those buyers.
Right.
And sellers. A lot of them are sellers as well. So we just have to wait and see what's happening and everything with this current political, the
chaos. Right.
The political virus that's happening.
Yeah. Well, let's go to the virus for a minute. What if someone had COVID? When you go to sell a home, do you have to attest to the people that they had COVID? I mean, it's not allowed, but are you finding that they
against
do?
the law.
I know, but you know what's going on.
No, I don't want to know. And it's not, I can't disclose, even if I did, I can't disclose it.
No, I know.
Because I'm violating the HIPAA laws for the person who owns the home.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so yeah, I'm sure they ask you though, and you say you don't know, and you can't.
If I know, I can't say that I don't know.
Oh.
But I can say I'm not allowed to reveal that information.
And that makes it almost sound like it is true.
Yeah. Probably, no one has asked me, but I would probably say that is information that if I had, I would not be allowed to reveal that to you. So.
Well, but I think it might be a good rule. Anyone buying any home today should go in and have it totally sterilized, right?
Yeah. Well, the other thing you have to, remember during the beginning is they said COVID lasts 72 hours on stainless steel. But that's in the lab. It's certainly not outside. I mean, COVID can die within 18 seconds outside if it's exposed to direct sunlight. But no, that wouldn't be a bad idea to have somebody go in and wipe all the handles down, the appliances and stuff like that. So,
right. So, yeah, that's probably the right thing to do. The other thing is, I was walking my dog, and my dog loves to be friendly. It's like your dog, and a woman wouldn't let my dog near her dog because I said, "Why are you doing that?" Well, because they could have COVID. I said, "Dogs have not gotten COVID. Have you heard any dogs that had COVID?"
No, this was actually on the news. The only thing he said was, if you petted the dog and you had COVID on your hand, and somebody else petted the dog, seconds later, there's a possibility, but it's not.
Oh, okay. Because
can't get COVID.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. So what?
The other thing, they're saying that I had COVID. Never knew for 1 second. I just happened to be getting some blood work. I had the blood work done. I said, check for antibodies. He checked. He said, you have the antibodies. When were you sick? And I told him I was never sick for a minute. So now
I didn't know this. This is new information for me, I think.
Yeah. So now if I would get particles or mist and breathe it in, my body would not reproduce that where then I could give it to somebody through breathing or spittle or anything like that. But if I had it on my hands and I shook hands with somebody and then they touched their face or they touched their hands, then I could transfer COVID. So as long as I wash my hands a lot, carry sanitizer in my pocket, I still wear a mask,
Right. But you didn't feel any bad results from anything? You didn't have?
Not for a second.
Wow. Well, that's interesting.
And a lot of people are saying, oh, well, you can get it again. Well, they only have one person so far that they can say absolutely got it again. And he went from like Great Britain to India. And it would, it was two totally different strains. But COVID hasn't been around long enough to know how long the antibodies can last. And you can
Right.
look this up online. I mean, they pretty much post something about it every day.
And did your husband get it?
He had to. He hasn't tested yet. And I keep
Oh,
telling him
but
to get blood work done, ask him to test for it, ask him to test for it.
he doesn't feel sick or anything.
No, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell everybody, this is Anthony Michael Culp. His phone number is 954-815-9048. Again, 954-815-9048. And he's not just a senior real estate specialist, a broker. He actually has a lot more attributes. And he was in the construction business. He knows so much more than a typical real estate agent. And that's why I really so glad that he's advertising and showing you. Every month he tries to bring in a special property of his. And they're pretty inexpensive. I think the one coming up in December is like, it's under $200,000.
Yeah, beautiful. One bedroom, all remodeled, 159.9.
It's in Palm Air.
It's in Palm Air. It has a nice view. It has a really large balcony. So, and it's a 1 bedroom, 2 bath, but it's a large 1 bedroom. The bedroom's huge. The living room's huge. Large kitchen. It's a nice
Does
place.
it have a very large closet that someone could use as an office?
No, but it does have an alcove that somebody could put in.
Right.
Yeah.
I've seen that done now when you get 1 bedrooms that they have extra areas that you can use. So even though it's a 1 bedroom, so
Well, this is a 1 bedroom king model, which makes it much larger than just a regular 1 bedroom.
yeah, well, that's good. And also, are you finding that more people want tile rather than carpeting?
Yes, absolutely.
And they just put throw rugs down or something, right?
Right. They want either tile or hardwood. Mostly tile, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, I rent my apartment, and when I came in, it had all this, had only tile was in the bathrooms and the kitchen, and I can't live like that. So my husband and I spent a lot of money and put in the tile ourselves. The landlord paid a little bit, but the stuff from the dogs, stains, it's terrible. I mean, I don't like carpeting at all.
My rental property has carpet in the living room, and the tenants asked if we could replace it. So they look like good tenants. I had to do it in the future anyway, so I toured all
So
that.
you did it.
Yeah, and the house already has hardwood, so I replaced it with more hardwood. So
Oh,
now,
well, hardwood's nice.
yeah, so I have tile in the kitchen, the bathrooms, but it's hardwood throughout the rest of the house.
Oh, yeah, that was smart. Well, good. So, and I didn't know that have you been now trying to buy real estate like this? Is that something you're doing?
I just settled on a house, and luckily it rented right away. I have a contractor in there freshening everything up with the
Good.
kitchen and the bathrooms, and I'm a good landlord. I mean, this is a business to
I'm
me.
sure you are.
I'm not emotionally attached to the house.
Right.
If it needs an air conditioner, it's the cost of doing business. Yeah.
So it's a house or it's an apartment?
I have one is a apartment, a condominium, and the other one is a single family home.
I didn't even want to get into condominiums discussion, but condominiums are very, very tough when you're trying to rent to somebody. They really are. I mean, you're limited. I guess some of them they won't do any less than the 3 months, if that.
Right.
And these people who sit on these condominium boards think that they're the Congress.
They forget that they're looking for the homeowner and not themselves. And when I sell a condominium, the bane of my existence is either the condo board or the management company.
Or the what?
Either the condo board or the management company.
I agree.
They're just,
I agree.
so
Yeah, I told you before, I've been in the real estate business, and I had some very high profile, fantastic people, and some people on the condo board, because, they had something to do with maybe no one would ever know, religion or something. They didn't let it go through. I mean, I had a lot of that stuff, and I that was the worst part for me. I really hated it, and it's
Well,
too bad.
I've been doing this a long time. And when they're doing something discriminating, I always make sure they put it in writing, even if it's an email. And
Right.
once they send that to me, I have them over a barrel. I tell them, you discriminated against this person. And a discrimination lawsuit is going to cost you about $20,000 just to go in and plead guilty, plus whatever fines. But it amazes me how many property managers or even management companies and condo boards have no idea that they're discriminating.
Yep.
The world
Yeah,
is
it's true.
changing. The world is
Yeah,
changing.
but the worst thing is a lot of times the person that's going to buy it, when that happens, they don't want to live there. They don't want to be there. You know, it's a two-edged, no, it's very bad. So
But
that was
that,
one of the reasons, yeah, I'm very unhappy about all that.
if they were turned down, they don't have time to fight. They have to find a place to live. And the management companies and the boards know that. So they know they can cross the line and nothing's going to happen because nobody's going to fight them.
Well, this was a CEO of a major insurance company, and it was just a second home. And he could have done a lot about it, but he didn't want to. His lawyer called me, said they're not interested. Let's just walk away.
Mhm.
So I mean that was, but I hated it. After that, I was really turned off about real estate. Isn't that interesting? That was back in the 80s.
But they're not all. I don't want somebody thinking that living in a place and they have a management company or a board that's always been great and then take the attitude that, oh, you're all bad. There are some great management companies that I've worked with. They're very professional. They get things done on time. They realize that this is one of the most stressful things you can do in your life is sell or purchase a home. And especially in the purchase, because the management companies or the boards have 30 days to give you an approval. If they don't give you an approval in 30 days or a denial, then you're approved.
Right. Yeah, I see.
The problem is
Well,
you still need something from them
yeah.
to sell them.
Yeah. Well, we've run out of time, but I'll just end it with this. The management company where I live is fantastic. They go overboard for everybody. There's a wonderful, I mean, I wouldn't want to leave this place because they're so perfect. You're right. I just made that one statement because it was something, you know, that offended me so terribly, and that was in the 80s anyway. So I think things have changed too.
The one
But
thing
go ahead.
I'd like to part with, if your commissioner where you live has been voted out and there is a new commissioner, take the time to introduce yourself. If you're somebody who's very involved in your district,
Good.
before they get in office, call them, meet with
Oh,
them, find out if they're having a meet and greet, and get to know them a little bit better.
good advice.
Because
This
once
is
they get in
Anthony.
office, they're not going to have that much time to meet with people. In
Right,
my
that's,
district,
yeah,
there is a new commissioner. The commissioner is very different than the last one in what she wants to do. And I'm going to meet with the commissioner and just say, hi, this is who I am. This is what I do. So.
she's lucky. Anyway, you won't find many people like you. So Anthony Michael Kulp, phone number is 954-815-9048, 954-815-9048. Anthony's your guy. And I hope that when you're looking to buy, sell, whatever you rent or something, just you call him. Thanks, Anthony.
Thank
Take
you.
care of yourself, okay?
Everybody stay safe.
Yeah, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.